Hello, my name is Carly Cox, and this is the Discovery Education Assessment Mini Training. An email was sent out and a survey was done, and there was high interest in getting a few more tips and strategies on this because our county had purchased the license for us to have this program. We had just had the video access before, and now we have the assessment piece as well. So when we get started, something that I found out, I attended a Discovery Education training earlier this semester, and the first thing that the gentleman did was show us stuff that was on the home page that nobody ever knows about, and something that can be easily integrated in multiple classes and multiple situations. And all of this stuff is free, so you scroll all the way to the bottom, it'll show you it has administration resources, free teacher resources, free parent, and free student. One of the really great ones about free teacher resources is it's organized by elementary, middle, and high school. So if you were to click on one, they have different resources that are available to you. They have a lot of articles, fun facts, they have brain boosters on here, their worksheets, you can sign up for their newsletter, different lesson plans. There's a teacher spotlight on things that's going on in the teacher world. Don't miss it. Certain things that are going on around the nation that are important. This is all free, so you can pull it up at home. So if you forget your login, that's easy to do. Sorry, I'm not used to it. They also have lesson plans. There's a puzzle maker. There are brain boosters on here. Another great one that's really good to use, and I know as educators we all struggle with this, about motivating our students. So this is a motivation station that you can use that has some tips and strategies that parents can use and teachers can use to encourage students to participate and to work better and more efficiently.
Sorry, I had to go to a meeting.
So this is easy to use. So when you have parent conferences and you're telling a parent, your child is having trouble focusing on this, or it seems like they're not very interested in this topic, you can easily pull this up and say, hey, you can go home, use your Wi-Fi, just Google Discovery Ed, and scroll to the bottom and click on Motivator Helpers, so they can use this as well. So that's all that again is at the bottom of the page, some extra resources. Now, once you log in, your screen comes up like this. And we have the global news. If you want to follow along and do this, you can. And I'm going to have some time for you to make a probe, just something I want to explain in a little bit.
How do you log in?
If you go to Discovery Education, and you Google it, it comes up like this. And do you know your login?
Should be the same way you log into the system. It should be connected through your
Like same password
Yeah.
too?
Mm-hmm.
Active Directory.
If not, I can log in. Does that work? Because mine is my last name, my first name, and then it's my school name. They've changed. I can log in at different times. So try Frederick Manning.
Actually spell it out.
All right, now we have everybody logged in with some help. And once you get to this page, this is the home page you'll come to. It's called My DE Services. And in the corner, this is always something that comes up, and it'll take you to a calendar, and it has something for every day of the year, and it relates to discipline, history, or science related. That's good for students, if you want to include something, do a fun fact of the day, or if they get restless, you can kind of break up something. So if you go to My DE Services, and then this toolbar comes down, and there are different things that the county has purchased for us at different schools. Mine's an elementary school, so mine may look a little bit different than yours. But if you will click on Assessment, sorry, it locked
You
me
have
out.
assessment?
I don't have assessment.
If you click on Assessment, it comes up to this page. And Assessment will be red at the top. And this is the section that the county added this year for teachers to be able to use, and there is an interim benchmarks, which we use that in elementary school for, there's like a pre-EOG test that they administer and they give each grade level that we can check. They don't have very many of those available for high school. But if you go down to the progress zone and you click on create a probe, it'll take you to this page. And this is something,
We don't have assessment.
you know,
I'm trying to look under some other things to see if it was there.
We had everything else on the list, just not assessment.
Yeah.
I don't think they bought that for
There's an assessment manager.
do you have that?
We do have that.
Okay.
Where is
click
it?
Under
that
builder
and see
tool.
if that,
okay.
Create standard-based assessments.
that's not. Well, that is not good either. Okay, so technical difficulties aside, once you sign in, if you go down to the progress zone, you can go to create a probe. If you click on assessments, you can go to the progress zone, and if you scroll down, you can go to create a probe. This can be easily used in class. You can create a 3-question probe, you can use it for a test, you can do 10, 15, 20 questions, it's entirely up to you. I normally do a probe name, so we are talking about water problems right now. So I would just I normally call it what it is. Sometimes I put the Common Core standard on it to help me remember later, it just depends. Then you select a subject, which would be mathematics. If you teach algebra, geometry, one of those would be selected. You select a grade. I'm going to do grade 2 because that's what I'm in. And then the skill set, you do the Common Core. You can also use the early skills assessment if you teach science. That's another resource as well. And then I leave all of the boxes checked because it gives you a selection of easy, moderate, and hard questions. It's got items added by my district and Discovery Education. So if you hit next, it'll tell you you've done the same thing before. You click on the standard. So this particular standard is to add subtract word problems. So you scroll down until you find your standard. That happens to be the first one. You hit next. It then gives you a list of questions to choose from. Typically, when I make one of these, if I do it for in class, I do 3 questions. I do an easy, a moderate, and a hard one. If I have EC children or children that have a special need, I can customize for them and make it something on their level. And you can make this accessible for them to log in on the computer and do it, and it'll read it to them if they need that. For those children, the other children, it's kind of at your own pace. You can also pull it up like this, and they can write it on whiteboards, or you can print out a paper copy if you need that for documentation. You can also set it up to where each question they answer, if they miss that question, it then gives them, either takes them to a video or a review game that will help them have a better success on the next problem. So I normally go through and look, and something that a lot of people don't realize is if you scroll all the way to the bottom, if you hit save selections and get more items, it'll show you more problems that the site has instead of just the same ones all the time. Sometimes it'll have 100 problems to choose from, and other times it might have 4 or 5, just depends on the particular standard. So if we were talking about, we need a school box, like that one, that was an easy one. I'll scroll down until I see moderate. Let's say this was talking about Liz and now she is a friend. you scroll all the way to the bottom, you hit next, and it'll save the ones that you selected. It will always let you review them, which is nice because sometimes if you're looking at 50 problems, you get kind of confused which ones you clicked and you hadn't clicked. It won't let you have more than 50 problems at a time. That's the highest number you can click. Then you can randomize them if you want to, if you want to leave them easy, medium, hard. If you want to create your own category to mix them up by, it's entirely up to you. I normally just kind of leave it how it already groups it. And then you would click save and exit. Then it will have created it in your Pro library. So as you can see, I've created quite a few to use. But if I go over here, it should have, it says my word problems. I had 3 questions, grade 2. Then I always like to print preview it, which is nice because it gives you the answer key. So if you were, looking at these 2 weeks ago, and they took the assignment, they're like, oh, I don't understand number 5. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at it. It's right on hand for you to have that. And then you can do them, so if you want to show them a line this way, you can. It's up to you. It's a preference. Then you can just click assign. And then you have your classes that are already set up for you by the county. And I would click math class. It's the same group of students, I just have them organized by subject, so it's a little easier to grade them. Now it's assigned to them, so they can go in and they can log in and it'll come on their home screen. They can sign in and take the assessment and do it that way. Something also that's also nice is you can create from here. You can do another one if you want to do a whole week's work. Another nice feature is we have a Pro library, and if you create something, you can click share, and you can share it with your district, your school, or no one. I normally share it with my district, so if other elementary teachers are looking for some of the same thing, if it saves them 10 minutes to look at your problems, they can preview this and use this. So I can share.
Now, do you use this as a, summative assessment, or do you use this as a pre-assessment, or do you use this for both, or do you use this whenever you feel like it?
I try to use it at least on a weekly basis. When we create tests, this is not perfectly aligned with Common Core, but it's about the closest thing that we have found. And I use it daily. I'll pick a problem and say, okay, this is our problem for today. This is going to be your grade. You get it or you get an X, they don't. It's just kind of a daily data for me to have on hand. So it's like at the end of the week, okay, well, 4 or 5 days, he missed word problems, so he's going to need some extra help with that. To help me with my small groups. They also have a benchmarking that I'm going to click on in a few moments that the state has created. It's like a free EOG that you can use, that you can look at the results and it'll actually give you the questions and the rating and all that. A lot of teachers are using it just kind of like a little snippet of the lesson. Some, this is where all of their questions come from for a particular subject of math. Some, it's like, oh, it's a rainy day, let's do an assessment. Our kids go to math lab because we start with specials just a little. So in math lab, sometimes I'll have created some assignments. So if a math lab teacher has a child who finishes all of her things early, she allows them to go home. It's extra review. I've also customized it for parents. So if I have a parent that's like, my child's really struggling with 3-digit subtraction, and I can say, okay, well, let me create a proof, and I can go in and customize it for the students and put in the specific problems that they're having trouble with, and they can log in and do it at home. And so parents can. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
So in the Pro library, you can search. So if I knew, like one of the girls on the road, her name is Megan, and then so I'll type in her name, and you can do shared by. So if you know someone on your team has created something, she's created this text feature one that I could use. So then I could just go in and I could add it to my pros. And then I'll go back to my pro library. And if I click now it's under my library. So I can assign it to my children now. So I just took one she made and just gave it to my kids so that just every time having to create my own.
A really quick way to share from departments.
It is, and it saves a lot of time because if you do collaborative planning or you're working on something as a whole group, it's like, okay, hey, I'll make the assessment for Monday, you do Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can share, and then everybody has access to it. It's a big time saver. And then if you have children, like we have some second graders who are reading on the first grade level, and you can even pull from the grade below or the grade above to kind of intermingle and mix in to help. Because it's the whole, kindergarten to high school is available that anyone to use and to look at. So then, that's how you can use per library. You can also search by titles if they have the standard. You can search by subject, grade.
Now, when I was looking at your probe list a moment ago, it showed under actions edit. How much editing can you do? Can you change anything?
If you click edit, you can go in, you can change the title, you can change the questions, you can pretty much redo a whole one.
You can add
You can add
to
questions
their
to it.
assignment or
Yes.
take away from it.
Right, exactly. So if you wanted to tweak something, if you didn't like, you really didn't like that one question, but you liked all the other ones, you can go in and take that one question off. And do that for sure. So I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to kind of just look at them, have any questions or anything. Just go walk around real quick.
You were saying something about sharing. You share it within the district and schools. Is it nationwide?
It doesn't have the license for us to share it nationwide, but it does have for all of Granville County.
Okay.
We asked about that at our training to see if they could make it nationwide, but they said that would take up a huge server.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to leave my email address, so if you have any additional questions or anything, let me know. So that's pros and how you do your pros. And if you go back up to the top, it's nice because you always can go back to this toolbar, always take you back to where you were. So I'm going to go back to the original assessment menu. And this is the benchmark that I was talking about that the state offers. You can sign up for that, and your principals can sign you up for that as well. So this one has the individual download my reading charts. So then this will pull up for grade 2 in literature. Blue is really good, green is really good, yellow is okay, and red is a problem. So grade 2, the literature questions were really hard for these kids. And this was taken at the beginning of the year when they first started second grade. So this is showing some difficulty. So showing us what they can do now versus what they'll be able to do at the end of the year. So if you can look at this and you can compare down here, okay, we have more blue, more green, we have yellow, we have less red. So the second time they took this, it was better. And this is good in conferences and parents looking at my child's this, what I need to work on specifically. You can pull this up on each individual child and show them. So you can see that the questions this time, language was really strong on. Okay, these were some different questions on language they had more trouble on. And you can actually pull this up, individualize questions with, who missed it, how many missed it, like that. Maybe pick, if we do reading, and we'll do the first test. This is where it actually shows you the report. Now it shows question 1. The answer was D. 17 got it right, 7 got it wrong. If you actually click on the number, it shows you the question.
Today you are going to show what you know in reading. There will be some answers you know and some you do not.
And then this one read a lot of questions. And it shows if it's in green, more than half got it right. If it's yellow, 40 to 60, red, 30 or less. And it shows you the ratings, if it was easy, medium, or hard. So this is really good if, you know, you at the end of the 9 weeks, or in the middle of the 9 weeks, you're doing checking for PEP data. You know, okay, so-and-so's having a lot of trouble with this, what can I help them on? You can pull questions from this and use this as well. So it's a good tool to have. Any other questions or concerns or anything? Anybody? Well, thank you for your time. If you have any questions or anything you need, let me know. Thank you for coming. I know